Traders, we've got a great video for you here today because we are talking about the chop index or the choppiness index. Now, on this exact chart here, I am looking at a chart of Bitcoin, BTC USD, and below here I have the chop indicator. You can even see it, CHOP, chop. It's right here before your eyes. And the first thing to notice is that the chop indicator essentially oscillates between two extreme levels, the max being 100, the absolute low being 0. And what it's telling you is if, based off of recent price action, this symbol is choppy or trending. So, really, a wonderful indicator to think about, to analyze, to add into your process. So, let's first discuss choppiness. Well, choppiness is defined by kind of the price action you are seeing right here, this zone here. It's just choppy. I know I'm drawing squiggly lines, but it's going sideways. It's choppy. It's up, it's down. It's up, it's down. A trend is something more like this. Look at this trend. It's going upward and it's going up and to the right. Do keep in mind things can also trend down. It's going down and to the right. But the point here is that with the choppiness index, you are attempting to quantify that and see what levels it's at and just how sideways it is. So before I get into the choppiness index even more, let us first just remind you to get to this tool. I'm going to delete it. Go ahead and go to indicators, metrics, and strategies and click. And then, of course, you can just type in chop as you need. And you can see I've already favorited it here. It says choppiness index. You can also go to technicals. It's an indicator. It's not a strategy or a profile. It's an indicator. Scroll down. Let's see. It's in alphabetical order. There's choppiness index. Now, also do always remember that there's a really helpful tooltip here that you can click. You can watch video tutorials. You can get insights and educational articles. It's right here, the combination of video tutorials and also these written insights is really just a one-stop shop for all your educational needs here on TradingView. So one of the important things here to know about the choppiness index is that it was created by an Australian commodity trader. Commodity traders are widely known for following trends or looking for markets that are basing or choppy. So right away now you know the historical origins of this indicator. Now the calculations are a little bit advanced potentially for some of you out there, but all of the calculations are right here in front of your eyes. And to get a sense of what you're looking at is you've got a logarithmic function being run here, as well as some really important indicators that you should know about, such as average true range. So that's naturally going to tell you about how choppy something is. What's its average true range? How much is it moving on average over time? Is it a tight range? Is it a wide range? And then, of course, you can see here that there's a sum going on, sum of the average true range over past n bars. So not to dive into this in full detail, but what you're seeing here is the indicator is attempting to try to determine just how choppy this symbol has been, or if it's in a trend, utilizing, for example, its average true range. Now, you can scroll through this to get additional insights, but one more very important thing I want to draw your attention to is the closer the value is to 100, the higher the choppiness or sideways movement. The closer the value is to 0, the stronger the market is trending. Let's take a look at some examples. 100, choppy. 0, trending. So let's add the indicator here. Let me type in chop. Click once, add it to my chart just like that. I'm going to go ahead and hide my watch list. Let's just focus in here on the chart of our choice. Like all indicators, we can click the settings menu or just double click on the indicator itself to open up this wonderful settings menu. Now we have complete control and customization of this indicator. In fact, I'm going to make the indicator a thicker line here. I'm also going to turn it into white so you just can't miss it. I'm going to click inputs. And as you can see, length is 14. This is, of course, going to feed into the calculation of the formula we just showed you in the Help Center. So remember average true range, for example. This is, how are we calculating that? How many days, minutes, hours? Now, it's important to always remember that this chart is on a daily chart. Check it out. I have a daily chart selected. Length 14. Time frame chart. That means this is being calculated essentially over 14 days. But I can change this by typing 30. Now it's being calculated over 30 days. So naturally, the choppiness is going to change depending on how much data you are ingesting into its calculation, whether it's 30 days or 14 days or 100 days. The choice is yours for what type of length you like to look for. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and do 25. Maybe that's kind of close to, a trading month, assuming we remove weekends. Oh, well, then again, we're looking at Bitcoin 24/7 trading, so maybe we should do 30. Let's look over the last 30 days on this rolling basis. Calculation super important here because now you have the ability to essentially do multi-time frame analysis, which is just ridiculously powerful. Time frame, chart. So we've got chart selected, and of course, we're on a daily chart. But we can look at a daily chart. This is a daily chart right here of Bitcoin while changing the time frame of our choppiness index, which is a very effective way to do multiple time frame analysis. So I can click 1 week, and now it's being calculated over 30 weeks. Time frame 1 week. Now that's a long time, so maybe we should just do 4 weeks for about a month. But nevertheless, it's smoothed out now. It's being recalculated differently, and we're going to have that selected. So now we click OK, and recall the closer it is to 100, the more choppy it is. The closer it is to 0, the stronger the trend. So rather interesting, actually, if you look at this high point here, it was indeed quite choppy here from about March all the way until April. And what's so interesting is look at it now turning down. And are we starting a new trend? Very interesting. Have we broken out of the chop? Remember, the closer this gets to 0, the indicator is trying to say that means it's now trending, not going sideways, not being choppy. So you can do some historical research with this indicator to understand just how choppy specific moments in time were. Before I get into that any further, I do just want to double click and remind you of one or two cool things as well, which is that you can have the indicator being visualized as something totally different than just a line. For example, I can actually do columns, if that's what I'm familiar with, or area, if that's what I'm familiar with, and visualize it that way as well. But that's important because everyone has their own different tastes, needs, and desires and markets. So just know you have that customization. In addition, what's equally important to bring up here is that you have the ability here to customize these bands. So by default, they've got these Fibonacci numbers here, but maybe you want to keep things simple. Just show me the 100 band and just show me the 0 band and then just show me the middle band. 100 being the most extreme, probably rarely that could ever happen, but just so you know, 0 down here. Choice ultimately yours. You, of course, can also customize the color of these specific bands that you want to see. Maybe you want red to be choppy, right? So at 100, choppy means stay away. It's very choppy. Maybe you prefer to trade trends, green. So you've got the green down here. And now you've got the indicator visualized as such. In addition, a great feature, wait for time frame to close. This is going to change how this calculates because after all, it's a week, right? So, let's calculate this indicator at the end of every week, 7 days. Well, if you click wait to time frame for close, it's literally only being calculated now each week. This says, so as you can see here, this says Sunday the 14th. And if we keep going, you can just track the dates. And if you uncheck this, well, now it's being calculated without that weekly close in mind. So it just sort of changes the way the data is being smoothed over. And you'll find on different indicators like the Awesome Oscillator, this has a really big impact. So go watch that video to learn more about the power of this feature. But for the most part, you might just want to keep this checked off for the choppiness index, just so you have this rolling chart in front of you. But it's really going to come down to your needs and your desires. Now that we've got this all figured out, I'm going to exit out here. And as you can see, we can do some analysis. So actually, what's pretty interesting is we can see that from about April, wow, look at this whole zone here. It really stayed elevated. And lo and behold, look at the sideways action. So you could have utilized this indicator maybe as a way to try to gauge, is there a trend? What's going on here? And then utilize that in your analysis. As you can see, all of the drawing tools work here as well, right? I can circle, I can even utilize my trend line tools. It's all available to me just like I'm drawing on the chart. And what's so interesting is look at this breakout here, right? And remember, if it's going closer to 0, it means the trend's ending. It went down with it. So you can look for these correlations, you can look for these confirmations, but at heart, the choppiness index is essentially the the indicator that's trying to determine if something is going sideways or trending up and down. So thanks so much for watching. Remember, we have several hundred videos on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like them, watch them all, learn something new, and our help center is filled with other interesting insights. So go read about them there. Thanks so much for watching.